G'day everyone, I'm Smokescreen and welcome back to another video, and welcome to a guide for the S-2 license test, the second test under the S license category in Gran Turismo 7. For this test we're going to be using the Ferrari F50 and we're trying to complete a lap of Monza. So if you're struggling with this test, this is the guide for you. I'm going to show you my fastest lap, which obviously is quicker than the gold time, and then I'm going to take you through a live commentated, nice slow lap through the course, using the Ferrari F50 to point out all the braking points, turn-in points, gear choices, tips, tricks, hints, all sorts, to try and help you improve your time. So strap in, listen up, and do let me know if anything I'm about to tell you can help you improve. Okay, so this is the lap. This was my fastest lap of the day. We're aiming to beat a goal time of 2:02.3, so let's see what this lap is going to be. First thing to note, make sure you maximise the gear changes here, rev right to the limit. Coming into the first chicane here, you want to be braking before the 200 metre board. Make sure you get it stopped up in time and take advantage of all these curbs. Maximise the track limit as much as possible. Upshift to third halfway through and get the car nice and square, planted on the back wheels on the exit to accelerate out of there in third gear. For this long right-hander now, it can be taken flat out, but just watch the oversteer as you shift up to fifth because the car's balance changes as you change gear, so make sure to try and counter that. Coming into the second chicane, just braking after the 200 metre board, down into second gear and then up to third for the turn-in to the second chicane, taking advantage of all the curbs and making sure the car once again is nice and square and planted on the exit. Halfway between the 100 and the 50 metre boards, roll the speed into Lesmo 1 here and just start to get on the throttle as you pass the access road for the marshals on the apex. Just after the 100 metre board, third gear, use this curb on the inside to help pivot the car around the corner and make sure you don't get too much oversteer as we exit and head down Seraglio straight. Maximise the gear changes, make sure you take it right to the limit, and we're going to be trying to pick our braking point for Ascari, which is once again just after the 200 but maybe closer to halfway between the two. Down into third, use this curb on the inside and upshift to fourth, nice and gentle through this middle apex and then nice and smooth on the exit. Over the top of the curb and just watch for oversteer as the car is sort of up on two wheels as you exit that last part of Ascari. Heading down one of the back straights up towards Parabolica, the final corner, we're going to be looking on the left hand side, or the right hand side I suppose, and braking just on the 150 metre board, down into third gear, come in for the apex, maybe slightly wide there, but we're rolling the speed through, upshift to fourth nice and early and just gentle on the throttle. There is not much grip on these sports hard tyres and there's a lot of power in this Ferrari F50. Straight line towards the finish line and there you go, there's a 1:56.9, so I know that was pretty rapid fire. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you a nice slowed down version with live commentary. I'm going to point you through the braking points, turning points, gear choices, and all that jazz. Okay, so let's go through the little tips, tricks, hints that I use to actually achieve that lap. And I'm going to go nice and slowly around the course here, driving my Ferrari F50 at Monza. And let's get out on track and have a look at how we actually managed to do it. So first thing to note in this car, rev it to the maximum, so all the way up to 260 and then shift. We're gonna take it nice and slow here because I want to be able to point everything out to you. So your first braking point, we've actually stopped perfectly. It's pretty much right where the car is right now, before that 200 metre board. It is crucial, absolutely crucial, to be getting your braking points correct because this car and its brakes, it's a car from the mid-90s, so the brakes aren't fantastic. If you go slightly too late, it translates into quite a big braking difference by the time you reach the end of the braking zone. With all these hard chicanes, it is imperative you pull the car up in time, and that's one of the things I would highly recommend focusing on if you want to improve on this particular license test. So you're braking before the 200 metre board. Try not to push it too much, because what you'll start to find is you'll push the braking point, you'll end up going too deep at the end. So be a little bit calm and conservative about it and brake, you know, a good distance before the 200. Right here is probably where I would want to be braking. So what you want to do, as you're braking, you'll be racing up there in 6th gear, pretty much do all your downshifts, bang, 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 right as the car's slowing down. Get the revs of the engine right up during the braking, because what that's going to do is maximize your engine braking. The revs are going to skyrocket. the car's going to want to slow down because of the engine revving too high, you know. Adds the engine braking as well as the real friction braking. But coming into turn 1 and 2 here, the first chicane here at Monza, you'll be in second gear. Don't go into first. You'll end up with too much oversteer. You want to maximise the track limits here. So for this first one, you can take a line like this, and then you want to upshift to third, and then follow where all the black tyre marks are. The black tyre marks on top of the curb is pretty perfect as to where you want to get your car, because if you leap the sausage, the car will bounce all over the place, and it increases your chances of spinning out on the exit, because even though we're in third gear, this car could spin out. But follow the tyre marks all the way to the exit, start to get gently on the throttle, and just like that, gently on the throttle, use the curb all the way out here. So that's how you get through the first chicane there. The car can spin out in third gear, so you have to be really careful with that. Okay, for turn 3 here, it can be taken flat out. So you want to take a wide entry, come in towards the curb, and what you'll be doing is you'll actually be upshifting to 5th during this turn. This car sort of has a H-pattern gearbox, so when you upshift, even with the paddle on the wheel, when you upshift, the car will it'll act like you've done a manual gear change. It'll cut the engine power, it'll lurch with the clutch. If you put the clutch in, the car will do that for you. And it can upset the balance of the car through the corner. So, what I'm basically trying to say is the car can actually oversteer halfway through this corner. So what I was doing is just as I'm doing the gear change, just a slight little turn to the left, just to keep the car nice and balanced as we're doing that gear change, and try and keep it nice and tight. It'll be much more obvious when I do my slightly faster lap in a minute. But that's how we get through there. So we'll be coming up towards the second chicane now, and the braking point for this chicane is the 200 meter board. Just like it was for turn 1, however, it's a slightly faster chicane than turn 1, so you can actually brake a bit later than turn 1. Basically, 200 meter board, just as it disappears off the screen, hit the brakes, hard on the brakes. You come up here in 5th gear. Actually, you might have done an upshift to 6th, actually. I think you upshift to 6th, otherwise you end up hitting the rev limiter before the braking point. So yeah, you'll be in 6th gear, just like turn 1. Bang, 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 bang. All your downshifts all at once. Get the engine doing a lot of the work as well. That helps maximise the car's stopping ability. You'll be going down into 2nd. Once again, don't brake too late. It's just after the 200, just after it, not halfway between the 200 and the 150, not 175 meters. It's basically 190 meters before the corner, and that's how we get into there. You'll be going down into 2nd gear, and just as we reach the 50 meter board now, we're going to be thinking about doing our turn in. So we'll be turning in 2nd gear. The 2nd gear is basically to get some extra engine braking, get the car to stop. But you really want 3rd gear through all this chicane. So you'll be in 2nd gear, and as you turn in, upshift to 3rd. Use these curbs, and then for this one here, get the sausage down the middle of the car. Beautiful. And then slowly on the power on the exit. The car can oversteer even in 3rd gear, so be really, really careful. Okay, so coming into the Lesmos now, what we're going to be looking for is that 50 meter board. And you want to be braking about here. So what's that? Halfway between the 100 and the 50 meter board. Beautiful. Your time of day will be different depending on your game, basically, because we've got dynamic weather. But normally, from my experience, there's some definition of light poking through the trees, pretty much on the track right where we're braking. So you can see I've got these speckles of light here, so I can actually use that as my braking point in this condition. It may look different. You may not get the speckles of light. But just when you do your lap, just look out. Obviously, with the dynamic weather, you can't use a concrete shadow or light as a braking point. You can't go, oh, I'm always going to brake on that shadow. I'm always going to brake on that patch of light, because it may be different every time you restart. But if you see it, or maybe different every time you reset. If I press restart now, like if I pause and press retry, they would be in the same spot. But if I went out of the game, out of the license, and loaded back into the license, it'd probably be different. But I know for this particular session, I can be using those speckles of light. So you can use that, but overall, you want to be halfway between the 100 and halfway between the 100 and the 50. And we're going to be braking. I'm pretty sure we go down into 3rd gear. and you want to basically follow these tyre marks all the way around. I've got the quarter markers on. You want to take kind of a wide entry. You don't want to apex too early because you'll end up wide on the exit, and you don't want to do that. So you got the quarter marker there, and basically what you're looking for is this little access road that those marshals have. Actually, oh, that's cool. We can look to the side. The access road. That's basically where your apex is. You can start to get on the throttle here. You can see there's a slight banking. The car's going to want to oversteer. The car's going to want to oversteer on the exit. So just be really gentle. You'll basically probably be half throttle until you reach about this stage of the corner. Then you can plant your foot, get the car nice and square on the back wheels, and sort of get the acceleration out of that corner. Okay, for Lesmo 2, it's a little bit tighter. It's like a more square corner than Lesmo 1, so you can't really roll the speed through as you can in Lesmo 1, so you got to brake a little bit earlier. It's still in between the 150, but it's closer to the 100 this time, and the braking marker I was using is this white line across the track. Braking just after that, basically. So this one's probably 100. This one's probably 75 meters before the, or maybe 80 meters before the corner, right around here. You want to be braking. I think you'll be coming up this in 4th gear. You'll be going back down to 3rd, turning in nice and early. You want to carry the speed into the apex, get up on this curb, and start to get on the throttle on the exit. You can use this curb on the exit. The car will want to oversteer, but you've got to try and keep that under control. Once the car's nice and square and squat on the back wheels, you'll be able to accelerate out of there in third gear beautifully. Okay, Ascari's quite difficult, and I found myself going deep here quite frequently. You see we just went past the 300 meter board. It's a little bit early for this car. You'll be braking just after the 200 meter board this time, so you're still using the 200 meter board, which is pretty simple because you can think I've got 3 chicanes, 3 braking points. They're all related to the 200 meter board, but for this particular one you'll be braking after the 200 but before the 150, and this one is a little bit closer to halfway between the two. So remember, turn 1, it's before the 200, the second chicane just after the 200, and then here it's probably halfway between the 200 and the 150. But I would definitely lean towards braking closer to the 200 than the 150, because you don't want to go deep here, because it will compromise you all the way down the following straight. So you'll be coming down here, you want to be bang, 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 once again, all your downshifts all at once. Get the engine doing a lot of the work. You'll be going down into 3rd, and then you want to turn in. You can use this curb here. You can leap up over the sausages there, nice and gentle on the throttle, and you want to keep it tight here. Upshift to 4th during this, and then get a nice smooth run out onto the straight. The car leaps up on 2 wheels through that last bit of Ascari, so don't start to get on the throttle until the car settles back down. Wait until once again the car's nice and square, nice and squat down on the back, and then plant your foot, because it will keep the rear planted and you won't oversteer or fishtail or wheel spin, all that good stuff. Okay, Parabolica now. Yeah, this is a little bit different. We're actually using a different number board. We're using the 150 meter board, and this one's really, really easy. Braking dead on the 150. Maybe slightly before it, maybe about here, but I would call that dead on the 150. Just brake before it leaves the edge of your screen, basically. Obviously, if you're using chase cam, you might want to brake before it passes the front of your car. But for hood cam, like if I broke now, that would be pushing too late. So braking, as you can see, the 150, just there, hard on the brake. You'll be coming up here in 6th gear. Once again, it's a case of, I think you're right maxing out 5th, and you may change to 6th so you don't hit the limiter. Once again, hard on the brakes at 150. You know what I'm going to say here. All your downshifts, do them all, one after the other. Don't wait for the car to slow down. Get those engine revs right through the ceiling. Get the engine braking doing a lot of the work. And you've got to turn in. I like to take a wide entry here and meet the apex just below where the marshals stand in that box, just where the corner marker is. Upshift to 4th and then start to get on the throttle. The car is going to want to oversteer. Don't plant your foot, you're just going to spin straight out. Gently on the throttle. Try to keep your steering as minimal as possible, and you will eventually be able to get to full throttle, and that will take us all the way up to the exit. Don't go onto this runoff here, because it may invalidate your lap. I actually haven't tried it, but you definitely don't want to invalidate your lap. But there we go. We're going to go slightly faster this time. Not quite max pace, but I'll demonstrate all the braking points in a little bit faster of a manner. Remember, 260. Change gear up to 6. Maximise those gear changes. Now, coming into turn 1, it's just before the 200. Maximum engine braking, and look at that, we got that stop. Use that curb, upshift to 3rd, Follow the tire marks gently on the exit and follow the curb out just like that. 165, change gear up to 4th and then through here as we change up to 5th, just a little bit of a correction to the left so the car doesn't begin to oversteer on the upshift. Hanging it in 5th gear, just after the 200. Straight line the braking, turn in 2nd, upshift to 3rd, using all of the curbs just like that. And then just try and commit to the power. Halfway between these two boards here, roll the speed in. Get on the throttle nice and gently, wait till we're straight to get back to 100%. Just after the white line, roll the speed in, gently on the throttle on the exit. And then we're going to be just maximising each gear down the straight, changing up to 210 kilometers an hour into 5th gear, and then changing up to 6th gear at 260. Just after the 200, down into 3rd, turning in, upshift to 4th. Gently through this middle curb, and then gently through this last part. The car can oversteer quite horrifically off that last part. 210, change gear to 5th. 260, change gear to 6th, but just before the 150 meter board. Down into 3rd, we've met that apex, upshift to 4th. Now really, really gentle on the exit. We'll be able to get to full throttle eventually. There we go. And that should take us up towards the line for a 157.8. But anyway, that's going to finish up this guide today, so do let me know in the comments if you liked this guide or it helped you improve in any sort of way. I would really love to hear it. And let me know which particular hints and tips and breaking points in general really helped you. I'd love to know that. Even if it's something as simple as going from not getting the bronze to getting the bronze, I'd still love to know, because that really makes my day when something I do help someone. Do hit the like button if you enjoyed, do subscribe if you'd like to see more videos and streams from me. That's going to finish up this video today, and that means that is it from me. So once again, I do thank you very much for watching. See you later.